we are brought to a stark contrast between the anxiety of Jesus' parents who, not knowing where he was, had been searching for him for over 3 days, and the calm demeanor of their son, gathered as he is with the elders of the temple in common pursuit of wisdom and understanding. A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Now Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up according to custom. And when the feast was ended, as they were returning, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents did not know it, but supposing him to be in the company, they went a day's journey. And they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintances. And when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem seeking him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting amongst the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. And when they saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been looking for you anxiously." And he said to them, "How is it that you sought me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" And they did not understand the saying which he spoke to them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was obedient to them. And his mother kept all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
We are thrilled to welcome Romane Paul, class of 2006, as our convocation speaker today. Romane is no stranger to public addresses. He was his class valedictorian in 2006 at Church Farm School. In 2010 at Swarthmore, where he received a double major in political science and education and a minor in religion, and most recently at Columbia Law School, where he served as the 2018 JD Doctor of Law speaker. Romane earned his Master in Education from Hunter College in 2012, where he was also enrolled as a core member at Teach for America. He taught in New York City and New Jersey for 3 years, has served as a campaign manager, legislative assistant and director, as an academic advisor, a legal intern and summer associate, and as a student intern, assistant district attorney. This fall, he will be starting as a litigation associate at Wilkie Farr Gallagher LLP in New York. Romane has a strong interest in educational policy, which his extensive background will serve well. Romane returned to CFS in May as part of our alumni choir at the Spring Choral Concert, and we look forward to his address today. Please join me in welcoming Romane Paul back to CFS.
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, no, y'all my brothers. I went to Church Farm. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm so glad to be here today. I'm super honored to be here, and I want to just put this out there first. I met a couple guys when I got here, and I just felt a connection with them. So what I hope happens after here is, I know school's going to be over. I would love to meet as many of you as possible before you go back to your cottages, just to wish you a good luck afterwards. So I'm super glad to be here, and I'm grateful for the invitation to come back and address my, what I call little brothers here at Church Farm. In coming here, I couldn't help but think of the words of the late Steve Jobs, former chairman and CEO of Apple. He says, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backward. That you can only hope that the dots are going to connect in your future. And that you got to trust in something. You got to trust your gut, or your heart, or your mind. Trust in the Lord, maybe. Whatever that may be, you got to trust something so that the dots can connect moving forward, because you can only connect them looking backwards." Today, I came to Church Farm School because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about finding your purpose. I want to talk to you guys about finding your purpose today. Finding your purpose while you're here at Church Farm School. I want this year to be an intentional year. I want this to be a purposeful year for you guys. I want this year to mean something for you. So I came today to talk to you about something that I wish someone talked to me back when I was in your seats. And it's about, how do you become your best selves moving forward? How do you find your purpose? What is purpose? Purpose is the reason why something is created, right? Purpose is the reason for the creation of something. I'm going to give you all an example. So back when I came to CFS, I was just telling some people upstairs, when I lived in the cottages, we didn't have cell phones. And I'm not even old. Tom, you remember, we didn't have cell phones. We had these phones in the cottages, and you had to get calling cards, and you had to call back home. When I was in 10th grade, cell phones finally started to come out, and we all started to share phones because we were free after 9 p.m. And along that journey, along that time, someone decided that this thing here, this cell phone, would be a good idea in terms of communication back home. If you look at the cell phone is designed in a specific way. It's for us to carry in our pockets. It's for us to communicate. It's not shaped like a water bottle. It's not shaped as anything else. There's a specific purpose for the cell phone. The designer had a specific goal in mind when creating this thing. It's intentionally designed this way. You can use any other example. I'm wearing a mic right now. Somebody thought it was a good idea to create a mobile mic as opposed to standing there for somebody like me who likes to walk around. I like to walk around, by the way. I like to fist bump sometimes. You know, I'll probably shake you up if you're sleeping, because I used to be in your position, and I'd be asleep too sometimes if it was hot. So don't be surprised if I shake you on the shoulder a little bit. But somebody thought it'd be a good idea to create a cordless mic, a specific purpose, designed in a specific way, intentionally, right? You can use any other example. A chair that you're sitting in, the belt you're wearing. There's a specific reason why it's created. And I came here to tell you guys this afternoon that in the same way that there is a specific purpose for the phone, for the piano, for this mic that I'm holding, there is also a specific reason why you're here. You are designed, down from your personality, to your physical attributes, to your voice, to how you act, you are designed for a specific reason. And it is my hope that while you're here at Church Farm School, that you'll take some time to think about what that is. Why are you here? You're not just here to take up room. You're here for a particular purpose. You are here to impact this school in a way that when I was here, I didn't impact it. There's a unique something about you that you're here for. Can y'all do me a favor and just say purpose? Purpose. Come on, y'all my little brothers again. I want y'all to say purpose. Purpose. Right. So what I hope will happen today is I'm going to give you a few lessons, and I'll have you out of here with regards to how you find your purpose and how you grow your purpose. Let me give you lesson number 1. Years ago, I and my mom were at the admissions office, and we had been arguing for a few months at the time because I told her that there was no way I was going to a school called the Church Farm School. I was from the city, and back then I was a little more ignorant. I was like, Mom, I don't know how to farm. You know, I'm not really into going to a school with no buildings around it. I'm not doing it. And at the time, up until we were sitting right in front of Mr. Lenardi's office, who was the admissions director at the time, we were going back and forth. Like, no, I'm not coming here. She's like, just give it a chance. Give it a chance. I'm going to let you make a decision about whether you want to go to Church Farm School, but just give it a chance. From that conversation, I kind of carried that with me. And that is lesson number 1 for you guys. It is to give it a chance. Keep your mind open. I was reading an article in the Times recently, and it was talking about how human beings are designed with so many interests and likings that we don't even know about. Not just you guys as young people. I'm also talking to the adults in the room as well. There are things that we enjoy, there are things that we like, but the article was saying that many times we don't know what that is because we're not willing to keep our minds open. We're not willing to try new things. Church Farm, if you're going to find what your purpose is as a student here and beyond, you got to keep your mind open. You got to keep your mind open. It's easy to say no while you're here, but I'm telling you, you got to keep your mind open. I'll give you a great example. A few examples. Number 1, I used to sing in the choir with Mr. Gress, and I remember we were going to Germany, and Mr. Gress will remember very vividly, I had never been on a plane before, so I said, I'm not going to Germany. So I had tried every kind of way to not make it on the trip, while he was trying every way to make me go on the trip. Turns out I went, and ever since the trip to Germany, I could not stop traveling. Keep your minds open. I'll give you another example. This is a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you because I love you guys, you know, my brothers and all. One of the things I hated about Church Farm School when I was here was you had to do a sport. You could not get out of doing a sport. You had to do one. I tried every way not to. Tried to go in the kitchen and cook, tried to do everything possible. You had to do a sport. So, in the spirit of keeping my mind open, I decided as a 9th grader who was 5'5" and 300 pounds that maybe it'd be a good idea to wrestle. I watched WWE at the time. I didn't realize that wrestling here was not WWE. It was actually wrestling. Mr. Smith is laughing at me because he knows where I'm going with this. As a 9th grader, as a new wrestler, as a heavyweight, I had to wrestle seniors who were state champions and who were, you know, wrestling much longer than I ever had because I was just too big. I was a heavyweight back then. And I'll never forget my first match. I was terrified. And I wasn't trying to wrestle because it was like a senior. They were saying, "Oh my God, he's a state champion," or something along the line. So, it's time for us to get down and like start wrestling. And the referee like rings the whistle, and I started running the other way. And I remember my coach at the time used to look at anger like, I'm going to kill you. But all I can remember is 7 seconds later being pinned and getting up and just walking to my other side. So I'm not proud to tell you, but I am proud to set a record at the school for a 7-second loss in wrestling. Mrs. Smith? Yeah. You actually can't pick on me anymore because I'm much bigger now, so yeah, we'll see. I give you that example because I hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't great. But if I could do it all over again, I would. I kept my mind open. Right? I can tell you many things that I learned from Mr. Smith from wrestling about persistence and resilience. Learning a lot about myself. So if I could do it over and lose in 7, well, I wouldn't lose in 7 seconds. But if I could have a similar experience, I would, because it taught me a lot about myself. In this coming academic year, keep your minds open. You're going to be exposed to so many opportunities. Don't just say no because you want to say no. Think about it. Think about it. I decided to do track that same year. I threw. At the end of the year, so let's say the year ended in May, in December, by the time I was done with track, by that time that December came, I was no longer 5'5", 300 pounds. I had lost 120 pounds because of track. Imagine had I said no. That is lesson number 1. Keep an open mind. Lesson number 2 is one of my favorite lessons. Everybody here is good at something. Everybody here is good at something. Something that's obvious. Everyone is good at something. Lesson number 2 is find what it is that you're naturally good at and work at it. If you're a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader, you probably know what I'm about to say. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you, to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up the light. I like to sing, I'm really good at that, right? There's something that I'm doing this on purpose. There's something that you are good at. And for some of you, it may be sports. For some of you, it may be, you may be musically inclined. For some of you, it's leadership skills. For some of you, it's gathering a group of people and taking on initiatives. Still, for some of you, it's probably making other people laugh. I know, I came here. Listen, in every grade, there's at least one person who's hilarious. I mean, for some people, it's making people laugh. What is it for you? What is it for you? It's common for me to be at Church Farm and for somebody to say, you know, I don't know what that thing is yet. And that's okay. You don't have to know what that thing is. Just keep in mind that these next 4 years are going to be amazing for you because you have an opportunity to discover it. It might be as an athlete. It might be as a wrestler. But there's something in you that nobody else has, that you're just good at, that Church Farm School, and I would venture up and say the world is waiting for. There's something that you have to contribute to Church Farm that the world is waiting for. What is it? And whatever it is, work at it. Work at it. Utilize your teachers. Mr. Gress, I remember, again, I'm going to use you as an example, he used to say, you know, you're pretty good at this. And some of my classmates used to say, too, you're pretty good at this singing thing. And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of good at it. You know, let me keep running with this and see where it goes. And it took me a lot of places, opened a lot of doors, but I'm not you, bro. It's like, I'm not you at all. You are different. There's something about you that is different. Focus on that thing this year. Focus on that thing this year. The worst thing you can do is let it go to waste. When I used to be at Church Farm, some of the most talented athletes used to say, you know what, I'm not playing anymore, to get at the coach. In reality, you're not getting at the coach. You're getting at yourself. What is it that you're good at? And build on it. And work on it while being open to other things as well. That's lesson number 2. So we have lesson number 1, keep an open mind. Lesson number 2, what is it that you're good at and work on it. Lesson number 3 is more for the adults in the room, but it also is for the students. My first day at Church Farm School, it was a Tuesday, I'll never forget. I was nervous, I was excited, I was terrified. I just wanted to do well. I just wanted to do well. And when I got here, I remember going through half the day and then coming to chapel. And at chapel, some of my classmates, one of my roommates was like, wait, you haven't been in class today? And I'm like, yeah, I've been going to class most of the day. And we discovered that I was following a Monday schedule, not a Tuesday schedule. I was terrified. Let me add this to the story. When I came to Church Farm, I also considered myself to be a bad writer. I wasn't a great writer. So I found out that the class that I had missed happened to be English with a teacher who has my heart. And not only did I miss English, I missed the first test of the school year, which is the summer reading. The test was a writing test. So not only did I miss half the school day, but I missed English and I missed this writing test. He tells me, you know, come to my classroom after and take the test. I'm terrified because I know I'm a horrible writer. I take the test. A couple days later, he gives me my results back, and it is a 100%. It's a 100. And I remember checking over and over that it was me, and it was. And he came to me and he said, Romane, he said, you are a really good writer. He said, if you let me work with you, you're going to be even better, but you are a great writer. I would argue that is what changed my trajectory at Church Farm, was the words of my teachers. So to the teachers, to the adults, to the parents, to the administrators, to the coaches, your words are a critical piece to the puzzle of these young men finding their purpose. Your words build. Your words inspire. Your words encourage. Encourage my Church Farm brothers, because they have bright futures ahead of them. What you say and what you do affect them. You are a critical piece to the purpose puzzle. And I hope you'll remember that. Last but not least, lesson number 4. There's a lot of lessons, but I'm just giving you the key ones that I learned here. Is embracing your journey. Embracing the journey. So I talked earlier about how I want you guys to find your purpose. Purpose is not a destination. Purpose is not a destination. Purpose is a journey. There's no such thing. You won't wake up one day and say, I found my purpose. It doesn't work that way. It's a journey. You have to embrace that journey. And like any journey, you have ups and downs. When I was here, I can't tell you how many downs I had. I had a lot of different moments here. I had good days and I had bad days. Purpose is a journey, but I had to embrace it. If you are going to find your purpose, young men, strong men, you need to embrace your journey. You need to embrace your story, where you come from. This is all but a chapter in your story. Trust me, I have been where you're sitting. This is going to go about like that. Embrace the journey. Smile. Be happy. Live in the moment. Yeah, there's going to be some times where you want to cry, and there's going to be some times where you're depressed and where you're sad. And it's just a fact of life. It's part of the journey. But embrace it. It is your journey. Not only do you embrace that, you embrace who you are. That's what makes this school so rich. They didn't just accept you because they needed bodies. They accepted you because they saw something about you. Embrace your journey. Embrace your story. You guys are, I would argue, on chapters 14 to 18 of your lives right now. Do y'all realize that you have so much more time to go? Honestly, 15 years ago, from now, one of you may be the one standing here talking to the next generation of young church farm men. Embrace your journey. This is not going to be an easy year for you guys. There's going to be some struggle. There's going to be some success, with regards to people going to college. I know you guys celebrate that on the other side, with athletic awards and all kinds of amazing things that you guys are going to do, honor roll. There's going to be a lot of successes, but there are going to be some failures. Embrace it all. And embrace it together. One of the things that I love about Church Farm School, and one of the reasons I would send my kids to Church Farm School, is because of how together this community is. Y'all got each other's backs. Everybody in here, I suppose, probably knows each other. And if you don't know each other by now, down the line you will in the next couple of days, since this is the first day of classes for everyone. It's such a community here. Embrace the journey together. Support your brothers here. Support your brothers here. When they're in need of help, support them. That's going to help them get to their purpose. So to conclude, I just want to remind you guys that you are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. I'm at that point right now. I'm connecting the dots looking backwards. I've gone to teach. I have worked for political candidates. I've worked for, sportscasters. And now I'm about to be a lawyer. I can look back and I can tell you what I see in you. And you guys are in it right now, so it's a little hard to see where you are and what you're doing right now. For some of you, it's like, oh man, this again. But my brothers who came here with me from 2006 and 2007, many of them now are doctors, and some of them are athletes, some of them are architects, some of them are hotel managers. And the one thing that we always say when we all get together, and we always still get together, is that had we not had this church farm experience, we don't know where we would be. Embrace your purpose in this moment. So I want you guys to repeat after me, and I'll get out your way. I want y'all to say, I don't want to have to ask y'all to say it again because y'all saying it in a weak way. I want y'all to be strong about this. I want y'all to say, I am filled with purpose. I am here for a reason. I am filled with purpose. I am here for a reason. I want you in some fashion to remind yourselves of that every single day. That you are here for a reason and that you are here for a purpose. And I want you to find it. And I want you to work on it and cherish it. And I want you to make this school better than when you came here for the next group of guys that come after you. Remember, after this program, I would love to shake as many hands as possible. I would love to wish you guys best of luck for the school year. Thank you guys for having me, and God bless you all.